Wisconsin's abortion law bans doctors from performing abortions in every case except when the mother will die without the procedure. Doctors face up to 6 years in prison on felony charges and $10,000 in fines if they violate the law. Call argues in the lawsuit that the 1849 law has been invalidated by abortion laws passed since the Roe v. Wade decision. Anti-abortion proponents and attorneys for Republican lawmakers disagree, arguing the original law still stands. The disagreement will be resolved by Shipler or, more likely, under appeal, as Crudy mentioned, at the state Supreme Court. The issue was front and center in April's state Supreme Court election. The court is controlled by conservatives until the summer when Milwaukee County Judge Janet Protasewicz replaces retiring conservative Pat Roggensack, Crudy's buddy. Protasewicz all but promised voters during her campaign this year that she would side with Call. If a judge or justices side with Call and rule that the 1849 abortion law was invalidated by subsequent past abortion regulations, the Department of Justice argues the state 20-week abortion ban will go back into effect. Republican lawmakers in Wisconsin passed legislation in recent years under former Governor Scott Walker that banned abortions after 5 months of pregnancy and required women to receive an ultrasound before undergoing the procedure. Remember that one?
I do.
Between 1996 and 2022, women in Wisconsin seeking abortions were also required to participate in counseling and wait 24 hours before undergoing the procedure.
But can't wait 24 hours
for
to get a gun.
Colin Evers filed the legal challenge in June of 22, asking the state courts to clarify whether the 173-year-old ban is still in place. And again, according to the judge, it's not a ban at all. The lawsuit was filed in Dane County, initially against Republican legislative leaders, and argued the longstanding ban had been unenforceable since 73 under Roe v. Wade is still unenforceable because it conflicts with abortion measures state lawmakers have passed since. Call said measures passed by Republican lawmakers setting restrictions on abortions under Roe v. Wade repealed the original abortion law. But following the U.S. Supreme Court overturning of Roe v. Wade, opponents of abortion and conservative legal experts said the state law passed in 1849 banning abortions was in effect. Of course, now that's why we are here. So, actually, very interesting. Number one, her perception, the judge is saying, hey, there was no 1849 abortion ban to begin with. And number two, even if there were, subsequent laws passed by Republicans and Scott Walker would have basically gotten rid of the original ban, and therefore those laws should now be in effect.
The original bans have been invalidated.
So that's great news for those who care about women's rights here in the state of Wisconsin.
Well, of course, that will chase an appeal to the Wisconsin Court of Appeals, and then probably the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And the timing, understand, generally the court waits its turn. And when we say the court, we mean the Supreme Court, but there's been a certain eagerness among certain conservatives on the court to hear a couple of last lawsuits for the road before patience, packs it and calls it a career, Dom. Do you think there'll be any rapid effort to jump out and grab this one before August 1st?
I mean,
stranger things have happened.
Yes, there stranger things have happened. Given this Supreme Court, the Wisconsin Supreme Court, under its current makeup, I would not be surprised. But
now there is a trial and a ruling.
Yes, yeah.
But I cannot see how the court would turn it around in 3 weeks. Sort of their own rocket docket, if you will, Dom.
We'll have to wait and see. Good news is, though, this is a great ruling from the judge here in Madison. And suck it, Republicans. Women have the same rights as we do.
We're getting encouragement of sorts on the tweet line. Okay, boys, got to be better today. Yesterday, Dom took a powder. Need you both to focus and be great today. Well, you better be listening, Jeff. Come back. More Devil's Advocates. We're always great on Friday because the weekend's here.
Great beer and great company meet in the heart of Madison's East Side. Starkweather Brewing Company. 15 constantly rotating tap beers and delicious food options from some of Madison's best chicken wings and cheese curds to seasoned chickpeas, spring rolls, and pizzas. Starkweather is the perfect spot to unwind after a bike ride or catch up with friends. And if you're planning a group event, they've got the space to make it a memorable occasion. Starkweather Brewing Company, 24 to 39 Atwood Avenue, and online at starkweatherbrewingco.com.
It's go time at Chula Vista. Time for you to discover Wisconsin's most complete resort experience. 200,000 square feet of water park fun. New thrills like zipline racing. 18 holes of classic golf. Wisconsin's #1 steakhouse. Hundreds of newly renovated rooms. Check it out at ChulaVistaResort.com.
Chula Vista Resort is one of the nation's top 10 indoor water parks per USA Today's 2023 Reader's Choice Awards. Find out why at ChulaVistaResort.com.
Radio keeps your community informed, entertained, and connected. It's what we're all about at the Civic Media Network of local radio stations.
We're having fun and moving fast to preserve hometown radio across Wisconsin. This includes a commitment to news. Now we want to invite you to join Civic Media's exclusive Facebook group, Wisconsin Breaking News. It's a place to share your community's news and chat with others from across the state about it.
Join the Facebook group Wisconsin Breaking News today. It's the perfect companion to your local Civic Media radio station.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Chance for scattered storms tonight, otherwise overcast skies. Lows level off around 60. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 80. More clouds than sun. 59 tomorrow night. Partly cloudy. Mid-80s Sunday. Turning warmer on Monday with highs in the upper 80s. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 77 degrees.
This summer, Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX has a new starting lineup. At 10, As Goes Wisconsin. Then at noon, Civic Media Network News. On Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
When they go low, we get high. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Happy Friday, everyone. Make sure you join us on the lines, 844-967-2789. Before our next guest, Dr. Harvey K, going to jump in at 4:30.
And you can use the shiny new app. You don't even have to learn the phone number. Do anything. Just push the little button. That's what the Patriots do. They got the Civic Media app, at the App Store, or wherever you get your apps. Now, I have traveled all over the Fox Valley today.
Oh, congratulations, man. My old stomping grounds.
I started my day at 5:15 a.m.
That's early.
That's early for me.
Were you up all night or just got up early?
No, it
Okay.
wasn't. I didn't get into Don Jr.'s cocaine.
Okay,
Not like
okay.
the old days.
We're hanging out at the White House. All right.
I was in bed shortly after 10 o'clock last night, knowing it was going to be a long day hanging out with you. Here in the, I guess we're in Green Bay, but I've been all across the greater Fox Valley. I started in Plainfield this morning, and I've been all across the state. I actually came up here, appeared on a radio show, and Jim Schmidt will be our fine guest in the 5 o'clock hour. Former mayor of Green Bay, Jim Schmidt. Mino and the mayor. They flipped the name of the show at the hour, though?
Oh, do they really?
It's the mayor and Mino in hour 2. Like they each have their hour, like Dom and Cruden, CrudenDom.com.
Yeah, I got you.
Somehow you always stole the thunder, man. But anyway, so I had to go down and I had to talk to a man, do a little business in Watoma. So, I mean, literally, I've been to Washura County. I've been to Wapaka County. I've been to Calumet County.
Wapaka County, man. Chain of Lakes.
Out of Gamey County.
Love it. Yeah, man.
And, of course, Brown County right now where we're broadcasting WGBW, the talk of Green Bay. But I stopped in Wild Rose. Had to get some gas. Had to use the facilities. You know how it is. And I stopped at a BP gas station, little knowing that I had walked into a gun store. And I mean, this thing was a gun store. This was an armament, Dom. And over in the corner, they had a full-size picture, life-size, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, like a cardboard cutout or what was it, a poster? What was it?
Well, it was like a silhouette,
Yeah, cutout. Okay.
Trump in the blue suit and the red tie saying, "Miss me yet?"
No, not much.
And above Trump's head, there were 4 individual. Well, there's a, what do we got here? We got a SOG Mark II. We got a Ruger.
Oh, the guns, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just another Ruger. And what was it? About 4 guns above his head. And then somewhere else in the shop, I see this hanging sign. The old Gatzenstein starting flag, I should say. It's a flag. Start with the snake, right?
Yeah.
And it's got "Don't tread on Trump," and the snake's head sticking up through the U in the Trump. and then it says "Keep America Great."
Oh, wow.
And that sign is also surrounded by many armor
Many
men.
guns. So you can gas up, go to the bathroom, buy your guns.
Yes, and in fact, I was.
Was there like a place for weddings and events? Like who was it? The former
Lauren Boebert.
No, who was running for Supreme Court. Didn't her and her husband, wasn't her bright idea? She was going to open up a gun range with a bar and, for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Pew, 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 pew.
What a great idea.
That was a great idea. I don't know why we haven't stolen that idea. But in Wild Rose, and it was like I had walked into a different world.
Like the Wild West, baby.
Because, I've been into some Quick Trips, but they don't have the AR-15s and stuff on the wall at the Quick Trip.
They're not trying hard enough.
So anyways, I go, because I really got to use the bathroom. I got my car gassing up,
Wait. You gas up the car, you put the hose in, and then you walk away while it's gassing?
In this case, I did.
You're not supposed to do that.
I had to go. I had to go, and I get to the restroom.
Very dangerous.
And there's some friendly woman that works behind the counter, and she's, "How you doing?" Give me the old Wisconsin nice. Good. And I get back to the bathroom, and the women's bathroom's wide open, but it says women's bathroom, women only. Didn't say that on the men's bathroom, just on the women's bathroom.
Oh, that was very specific.
Very
Women's
specific.
bathroom, women only.
Women only in the women's bathroom. And I'm thinking, no, that could be a backhanded, crack at trans people, or it could be this one poor woman's effort to maintain some civil and clean space and this otherwise gun shop. So I'm waiting in line. And the guy before me is taking a particularly long period of time. I'm looking over, I can't use the women's bathroom. It says specifically women only.
Well, you could, but you chose not to.
I was honoring the request.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it said unisex. I mean, come on, man.
You know where I don't try stuff
What, are you going
like
to kick me out after I go to the bathroom? Okay.
You know where I don't play that game?
What?
In a BP of Wild Rose full of AR-15s. So the guy that comes out,
cleaning his gun, yeah,
he comes out, and I'm thinking, oh, this could be a tough one. You might not want to go in there for a minute.
Pull your shirt up over your nose.
He's been there
bit, yeah.
and he's like a trucker-looking dude. Big burly, gruff. Like he ate chili for breakfast kind of looking dude. So I'm like, oh God. I go into the bathroom, and I notice there's some literature on the wall. It says, "Where will you spend eternity?" And there's another one that says, "You're special," and it's like a rose, and another one that says, "God with us." So it's a very religious experience, this little bathroom, and I was praying I was going to live through the experience. So anyways, I wash up and I finish my business. I come out to the lobby. I'm like, oh, they've got soda and, a few of your refreshment items here as well. I've used the facility, I'm going to be a good guy. And
well, you already guessed. Is your car still gassing up at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The car was gassing up, and I apparently left the company card here in town, so I was actually paying for it with my own gas, paying for my own gas for a change. But anyways, so I felt like I had to buy something at the counter, right? So I got a couple of Diet Dews, my rocket fuel here. And the guy from the bathroom was also buying something. Pistol.
Oh yeah,
he was gonna drop about $1,000 for a handgun, revolver.
Wow, that's interesting. At the gas station, at the BP, huh?
At the gas station,
$1,000 for a revolver at the BP.
Ish. I didn't peek over his shoulder, but come back. Fine guest, Dr. Harvey K. I hope he's been listening to this story. I'm sure he'll find it as entertaining as I hope you have.
You'll get sound after the news break.
Good to be king, if just for a while. To be there in velvet.
Warning, listening to the Devil's Advocates may expose you to opposing views.
It's good to get high.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we've been joined by a fine guest here in the WGBW studios, the Talk of Green Bay. He's Dr. Harvey K. He is the Talk of Green Bay. Harvey, can you hear me okay?
Okay, but can you hear me through this?
Yeah, let's
I
get
can,
you all
but
set
let's
up.
get
Good-
you all.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, Harvey.
Don't cover up the sexy, Harvey.
Right.
We got you in the chair of honor. You are seated in the Green Bay Packer studio chair. It's got the honorary G. It matches
It's
your
so
hat.
new. I think there's I think the price tag is still right here.
Well, it's like midi pearl. We don't know if we like it. We might have to send it back.
You know, they got to get broken a little bit. You know, they get a little stiff right out of the box.
You know, I didn't realize we were right on the street. Had I realized that, I would have done the last half hour out on the street making faces at you, Mike, you know?
Easily distracted,
Or
Harvey.
maybe I would have mooned you, something really fun.
Dom had visitors do something similar the other day in Madison. So, Harvey, we're in your fine town, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Did U.S. News and World Report call this the best place to live in America, sir?
Yes, they did. And I just have to tell you, so I have a friend I've known since I came to Green Bay 45 years ago. And he was on the faculty with me as well. He retired earlier than I did because he was several years older. But lately, he's been traveling a lot, and he is asking himself, should he be moving back to California where he lived as a young man? You know, there are possibilities out there. And then he looked at my wife and I over lunch and said, you know, it's hard to leave Green Bay. This is a very comfortable place to live.
Yeah.
And, I was going to ask him the straight question, can you remain a Packers fan if you're not can you remain a true Packers fan if you've been living here and you leave here? Now, you can tell me, sure, I know you guys, Milwaukee, Madison, you're Packers fans. But there is something about living in Green Bay, which, in fact, Green Bay people themselves don't even realize. They think that NFL towns are pretty much alike, just a difference of size. They assume that when they're living in, whether it's New York, Chicago, LA, Kansas City, or anywhere else, that they're going to run into Packers, or they're going to run into coaches. And they don't realize that that doesn't happen in those places at all. I mean, when Rodgers left here, he's living in New York City now.
New York City?
Yeah. And from what I understand, he's living up on the Upper West Side, which I don't quite comprehend, but that's beside that. I mean, I know the Upper West Side, but it's because I grew up in the New York area. But that's just kind of strange. He's got to cross the river one way or the other, unless they're sending him helicopters to get him, to get over to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Well, that's a pain.
Yeah, but
you know what?
Nobody wants to live in Jersey.
I actually grew up in New Jersey, so watch it. Okay.
I notice you don't live there anymore. You're bragging about how much you love beautiful Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Because I am here. Indeed, I'm here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The only thing that, of course, after the Scott Walker regime, and now with the continuing Republican control of the legislature, there are reasons that one worries about living in the state of Wisconsin. One can only hope that we've seen the worst of it. I heard on the news of your announcement on the news or whoever was reading the news today about the court decision, which liberates us from the fear that a law of 1849 will limit or obstruct women's capacity to control their own bodies. I mean, that was promising.
Or as the Republicans put it, Harvey, the good old days.
Yeah.
1849.
Yep.
Well, once upon a time when we were a Republican state, and this is where the Republican Party was founded down in Ripon, those Republicans were really on the left. They included socialists and others. Ask John Nichols about the Republican founding and the folks that were speaking to the creation of a Republican Party, abolitionists, indeed, even what we would think of today as socialists. Something went wrong, and it wasn't in the state of Wisconsin. It was something in the Republican Party, obviously.
Harvey, they've even moved the little white schoolhouse in Ripon. The birthplace of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is dead.
Yeah,
it's dead, Harvey.
Trump said it. All his acolytes have said it. I mean, it was I believe it was when Trump came to town
Waukesha.
in Waukesha for the
Campaigning on behalf of Tim Michaels'
yes,
campaign.
yes.
And Adam Steed.
Again, reiterated that, the Republican Party is dead, and it died the day that Donald Trump came down the golden escalator.
True. But I will also tell you that in 1931, I believe it was, Franklin Roosevelt wrote to a major figure in the Democratic Party who was a historian, a Jeffersonian scholar. And he said, we've got Jefferson. Given what the Republicans are up to and their relationship with big business, I think we should lay claim to Lincoln too. And in fact, FDR did everything in his power to basically make Lincoln, as well as Jefferson then, iconic figures within Democratic Party circles. Now, if we could only get the Democrats to remember Franklin Roosevelt, we'd be in good shape.
I know you're a big fan, Harvey.
Harvey, folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show live on the road, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Harvey Kay's adopted hometown, last, 18 years?
18? Are you kidding? I've been here 45 years.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Feels like 18.
It goes fast when you're having fun.
Feels like 18. Harvey, here's the problem I got with this part of the state. It's red. It's red, Harvey. I got the voting demographics, Brown County, where Green Bay is located, 52.7% Republican, and this is supposed to be a college town, sir.
Well, hold on.
How does that work out?
Okay,
Harvey?
wait. Can you tell me the figures for Green Bay, the city itself?
I will do so while you speak to my question
even
about
so,
Brown County.
Yeah, even so, 52%. I mean, that's still a coin.
Do you actually
flip.
want me to explain to you what's happened in this state?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Make it make sense to me, sir.
Well, seriously speaking, for too many, I mean, this is at the national level and was literally echoed or mirrored in the state. For too many years before Scott Walker, the Democrats had abandoned, I'm going to go back to it, they abandoned the FDR progressive tradition. If they've abandoned that tradition and they're sounding more and more like, at very best, Eisenhower Republicans, then you might as well vote. I think a lot of people just say, well, we'll vote for the real Republicans. Why vote for the pseudo-Republicans? Or that's, I believe, I'm paraphrasing Harry Truman, by the way. So it's striking to me that the Democrats didn't quite grasp that the most popular Democratic Party president ever, in fact, the most popular president of the 20th century, the most important president of the 20th century, why did they turn their backs on that? I mean, I can go into more detail if you'd like about how under Doyle, to cut budgets, they furloughed faculty. I mean, instead of mobilizing the citizens of Wisconsin and appealing to the better angels of their nature, we called Wisconsin nice. What did they do? They sort of met the Republicans on their own ground, cutting budgets, furloughing faculty for, X number of days. I mean, they no longer had the kind of credibility that you need to win elections.
So then, and I get what you're saying, and part of me would say, well, the money in politics has continued, and perhaps over the years, the Dems have started. Yeah, it's hard to get away from that. When that much money is getting spilled around.
That Ben Wickler, he raises so much money. He's a rainmaker.
He certainly is. So that's a little bit different. But you also, someone has to govern, and to fast forward to today, Harvey, and look at what Governor Evers did. He signed this budget. We're like, veto the whole thing, but then he didn't. He vetoed some things, then they played some games on funding for schools. What's your thought on how Evers handled that, and does he need to go? Do the Dems in Wisconsin need to go more left, in your opinion, Harvey?
Well, you know the answer for me. Yeah, they definitely need to go left. Look. If I'm not mistaken, Evers approved the greatest, transfer of wealth into charter schools from this state in decades.
Well, no one's going to church anymore, Harvey, so they got to get some money somehow.
Sorry, I'm breathing into this mic because you're making me laugh. I think, look, think about it this way. This part of the state you're in right now is, what do they call it, purple?
I'd say it's purple.
We'd go purple.
I would say lightly red, Harvey, according to the voting demographics in the Green Bay Metro.
Well, and I've already given you the reason, but don't forget this. The northwestern part of the state, was a Democratic part of the state. Why do you think it was lost? The Democrats nationally abandoned rural areas.
Yeah.
Okay, the need for a rural New Deal should be evident. The need for the let me go right to the point, since I didn't realize we were going to talk about this, but I'm happy to get revved.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Democrats stopped having a vision. They stopped having a story. They had an agenda, but an agenda is just a list. They no longer offered a vision of what a great Wisconsin, or better, a good Wisconsin would entail. They just didn't do it.
Make Wisconsin great again, Harvey?
Waga? No, what is that?
Waga?
No, but
I think I passed through that town today.
You should have stopped at the bathroom there. They have unisex bathrooms there.
Perhaps they do.
Okay. No, I mean, seriously speaking, there just hasn't been a vision coming out of the Democratic Party. You know, all well and good Ben Wickler's raising money. All well and good that the Democrats are probably well, actually, I'm worried about 2024. Very, very worried about 2024. Because until the Democrats start developing the vision and a story. You know, I had a conversation down in Madison some time ago with one of the U.S. House of Representatives from Wisconsin. We were in Madison.
Come on, man. There's only one of them. You say you're talking to Mark Pocan already.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark Pocan, and I said to him, "Look, Mark, if we walk down State Street towards the university, that other campus down in Madison,
you'd pass Civic Media.
I know, so what I said was, if we stop people on the street here, and likely 9 out of every 10 people on State Street are probably going to vote Democratic, but if we go down the street and we ask them to tell us, what does the Democratic Party stand for? They couldn't tell us. They could tell us maybe, well, women's right, or they could tell us any number of specific issues on which the Democratic Party would take a progressive
legal weed.
Stance. Legal weed, yeah, probably in Madison, legal weed. I mean, it's that kind of thing. But the fact is that people don't associate the Democratic Party with a vision, with a story. Nobody talks about what the Democratic Party meant nationally and in Wisconsin in the 30s. Although actually in the 30s, I will tell you, Franklin Roosevelt was so disappointed in the 1930s Democrats and so impressed by La Follett's progressives that he actually backed the progressives in the 1930s and not the Democrats in this state. But later, when you got folks like Gaylord Nelson and others, the state picked up on that spirit. And look, we were the first state to have public employees right to organize and bargain collectively. I mean, we were the progressive state throughout the 20th century, whether we call it progressive Republican in the first part of the century or progressive Democrat thereafter. And
yeah, but we're talking about Green Bay again. And I want to bring it back to here, Harvey. This is a college town, Greater Brown County.
Yeah,
Republican.
but you're not talking
Sure,
about...
we elected a Democratic mayor here in Green Bay, recently reelected Democrat Eric Gingrich. But my question is how is any college town red?
Well, look.
And how do we change that?
This is not a big university. It's big perhaps in spirit, it's big in talent, but it's only a campus of 7,000 or so students. This in a city that's far larger, in a metropolitan area that's far larger. Okay, you're just spoiled because you're living in Madison, right? And you're like in the Disneyland, progressive Disneyland of the state.
Hey, man, I got the WIAC covered. We got Eau Claire, we got La Crosse, we got a lot of different small college cities in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, La Crosse went blue, though. I mean,
are blue relative to Green Bay, Brown County.
Let's go better than that. Let's go better.
Yes.
Let's go better than that. And let me put it this way. The proof of the pudding is that when a Medicare or a healthcare for all kind of referendum went up in Dunn County, it passed. Okay? Dunn County is probably one of the reddest counties in
Amory,
the state.
60%.
Okay?
Red.
The point is that what it showed is that what people want is a truly progressive vision and story. And when the Democrats realize that, and I'll be happy to help them out, okay, we'll be in a hell of a lot better place.
And you know what? We would even have a whole radio network for them to utilize, including a station in Amory, Wisconsin, which is right there, Polk Dunn County, right in that corner.
I've lived in Wisconsin for 45 years. This is in terms of media, this is the most thrilling development in 45 years. That I can show people a map and say, look at this coverage now for liberal and progressive voices.
We got the whole back of Russ Feingold's hand covered. Dr. Harvey K., our fine guest here in the WGBW studios. That's Green Bay, baby. Come back with us. More Devils and Dr. Harvey K.
Where I go.
The Devil's Advocates. So relevant, they have 1 foot in tomorrow.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dr. Harvey K. hanging out with us in the Green Bay studios of WGBW. Dr. Harvey K., thanks for sticking around, man. We ended the last segment talking about the lack of a specific storyteller, a vision on the Democratic Party. I want to get a couple of thoughts from you. Number one, what do you think it should be? And number two, how would you describe that vision or that story on the Republican side?
Okay, the story on the Republican side is a hijacked story of America. Okay, let's go back to Ronald Reagan. Reagan has been running for president. He ran for president, I think first in '68, didn't go anywhere. Then in '76, almost got the nomination. Every time Reagan ran, he made it a point of speaking of a lost America. That's not the vision. We don't want to talk nostalgically of something that didn't exist. He actually ran in 1979-80 with a very familiar saying, I'm sure you know, "Make America Great Again." And by the way, for those people who are so fond of Trump, he's a plagiarist. He's a plagiarist of the guy.
That's the nicest thing you could say about the man, though, Harvey.
I'm setting myself up for this. Okay, so but that's just it. It's that, "Make America Great Again" kind of thing, which is to obscure the things you do not want to talk about as Republicans. Like, even if it was down south, it was segregation, the marginalization of women. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Right.
What I want the Democrats to think about is talking about the kinds of struggles that went into making a freer, more equal, and more democratic America. When FDR came to Wisconsin in 1935, and he spoke at Bay Beach Park. And
right here, okay.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's a great speech, a really fine speech. I put it in my most recent book, FDR and Democracy. And he talked about how working people came to this country and had to struggle, not just to make a living, not just to establish a homestead and all that. They had to struggle against those who would deny them their rights. Now, what's interesting is he was saying that specifically about working people, while 60 miles south in Kohler, the workers were on strike, and it was a deadly strike. Okay. But FDR was trying to give encouragement to those workers who were out on strike, just 60 miles away. I want Democrats to start really encouraging, not just giving a nod, really encouraging the organizing at Amazon, the organizing at Starbucks, the effort to organize Delta Airlines. I mean, those are the kind of things I want to see Democrats turning out and supporting those initiatives. And then working people will start paying attention.
Harvey, on the national level, who do you think in the Democratic Party, or even on the progressive side, is best to hold that mantle of FDR? Who do you think is most articulate and can relay that message?
Is that an innocent question, or do you know what my answer is?
No, it literally is an innocent question.
Because I should have had you say very clearly, I actually am an advisor to Marianne Williamson.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
She got some problems, man.
Okay.
Her staff's leaving all over the place.
That's not my side of the job.
Okay. All right.
My side of the job is to work with her in terms of her launch, and all you got to do is have a look at her speech, and you will hear echoes of the kind of history that I'm talking about. Listen to her speech at the National Press Club that I worked with her on for a national economic Bill of Rights, which was FDR's call of 1944. Now, do I think that Marianne Williamson is going to somehow overcome the obstacles set in place by the DNC? I can't possibly say that. But I can say that she is carrying a message with her, which is the kind of message the Democrats should be embracing. And I can tell you, I'm very happy to be working with her. She is very keen on reviving the FDR spirit. And people had talked about Biden doing that when he first came in, and he hasn't. And which is a terrible disappointment.
Bidenomics, baby. Biden's got a series of successes, Harvey, bipartisan successes. I mean, I agree with you. The Democrats don't know how to deliver a narrative. But in terms of legislative victories, Biden has delivered some victories.
But that's not FDR, man. We're not talking there.
Yeah, look, FDR didn't have Joe Cinema.
This is great. We're going to start sounding. We're going to
Joe Manchin in the way.
We're going to start sounding like Crossfire on CNN several years ago. You want to talk about the fact we still don't have a minimum wage of $15. You want to talk about the fact that they, for 1.5 years or so, they perhaps lifted half of the kids who are living in poverty out of poverty. And where'd they all go? They fall back into poverty. And why didn't we bring 100% out of poverty? That's what I'm talking about. When's the last time you heard Democrats talking about Medicare for all? If you're going to be FDR style, you got to go with what Americans need. The majority of Americans on every one of the issues want progressive action, not action to, try to cover up the faults, not try to sort of bridge the little gaps. No, action that literally will mobilize them to believe that the Democratic Party means business or democracy.
Am as Bernie loving as the next guy. And there is so much about what Bernie Sanders campaigned on that I found appealing. And sometimes even some of the first things that I was dismissive of, some of these very progressive policies, like, free college. I'm like, oh, free college, that's Bernie being a socialist. And then you do the math. You're like, well, that would be an investment in a whole generation of Americans, much like the GI Bill was post-World War II. You start doing the math on a lot of these propositions, they make sense and they are popular. And I'm not going to quibble with whether or not Marianne Williamson is the person that could carry those forth, because I get your point. Someone needs to carry the message forth, and it's not Joe Biden currently. It's not Joe Biden. But here in the state of Wisconsin, I think Tammy Baldwin has done a fine job of being a real progressive and caring about constituencies all around the state. And electorally, that's a winning formula. I think Tammy's going to run away with it. And I'm not being overly confident. I'm not running her campaign, Harvey, but she's going to whop whatever Republican runs against her.
I hope so. I mean, I'm not knocking Tammy Baldwin. We're talking about the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is not Tammy Baldwin right now. The Democratic Party is not a party that has called for an economic Bill of Rights. And in fact, the billionaires who are very much at the heart of the Democratic Party crushed Andy Levin in Michigan, Nina Turner in Ohio, when progressives were running. In Andy Levin's case, a great congressman from Michigan. They crushed him. I mean, the fact is that if the Democrats want to win, I vote Democratic when push comes to shove because there's nowhere else to go. But it is the case that the state of Wisconsin and the nation need progressive politics, a truly progressive politics. In fact, I'll go further. We need a social democratic politics.
We're a little short on time. Cornel West has announced a third-party candidacy, Green Party. I like Cornel West. But I don't want to see him peeling off Democratic base voters or those that are looking for a little more progressive alternative, because the flip side of that coin could be Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis.
And we will end this segment in agreement, happily. I fully agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. I could not imagine what kind of thinking would lead someone to run third party in the face of the possibilities in a November 2024 confrontation.
What if Trump does it, though?
What if he does it?
What if he abandons the Republican Party and runs third party? Is it okay then?
So who is he bringing as from the Democratic Party as his running mate?
Oh, he's not bringing a Democrat along.
No, he'll bring Carrie Lake and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Who's the guy that Perot rolled out at the debate?
If Trump breaks from the Republican Party, he's going to grab hold of a Democrat. We'll never know because he ain't going to do it.
Trump Cranston?
Mansion?
No, Cranston. Admiral Cranston. He is Dr. Harvey K. We are in Green Bay. Come back. A happy hour indeed.
Find out what's going on in the world, the state, and in your own backyard. This is a Civic Media Network News Update.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Terry Bell, and here's what Wisconsin needs to know. A lawsuit challenging Wisconsin's 174-year-old abortion ban will proceed. A Dane County judge today refused a request to dismiss the suit. The case is expected to be headed to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The leading Republican in Wisconsin state government says the GOP is getting ready to sue Governor Evers. Republicans say the Democratic governor reneged on promises he made during state budget negotiations. Robin Voss is even calling Evers a liar on Upfront on WISN TV this weekend.
We did not say it was okay to have one person use a creative veto to have property tax increases guaranteed for the next 400 years. That was never part of our discussion.
Republicans are complaining loudly about Evers' line-item budget vetoes. A spokesperson for the governor says Evers upheld every part of the bipartisan compromise he reached with Republicans. Drought conditions are getting worse. The U.S. Drought Monitor's latest update says about 3% of Wisconsin is under extreme drought conditions. 27% is in a severe drought, and about 93% is in a moderate drought. The Drought Monitor says conditions have gone downhill quickly in the last 3 weeks. About half of America's taps are putting out water tainted with life-threatening PFAS. Mike Moen has more now on the results of a new federal study.
The findings were issued this week by the U.S. Geological Survey, which gathered samples from nearly 700 locations across the country. John Rumpler of the group Environment America says all Americans should take these results seriously.
It's highly alarming because these chemicals are toxic to humans at very low levels.
And while the EPA is proposing certain actions to limit the presence of PFAS in everyday products and water systems, some health and environmental groups say industries need to face more pressure to phase them out. I'm Mike Moen.
The Biden administration is close to starting negotiating with drug makers for better prices. 10 drugs will be chosen for the first round of bargaining by the 1st of September. Congresswoman Gwen Moore of Milwaukee says she hopes one of those drugs will be a cancer-fighting drug called Imbruvica.
Saved my life. They cost $197,500 a year. You do the math. That's more costly than most people can afford.
The Medicare price negotiation plan is part of the Inflation Reduction Act, which has already capped insulin prices. There are several lawsuits to try to stop the program. And that's what Wisconsin needs to know. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the TGIF. Thank God it's Friday edition, Dom. We are in Green Bay, Wisconsin, WGBW, the talk of Green Bay. Thank you to our most recent guest, Dr. Harvey K., Professor Emeritus, University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Always great to have Harvey come round. And in just a little while, we'll be joined on the airwaves by former Green Bay Mayor Jim Schmidt. I was on his show this morning. We call him 8-second ride, Jim.
It's paybacks, Crudy.
Jim's
Paybacks.
Jim's in the building, so I'm talking trash in front of his face.
So that's allowed then.
The Friday night parties are starting here in Green Bay. We are on the Ray Nitschke Bridge. We're on the Fox River, North Washington Street, and the city deck's in the back. And if you're familiar with Green Bay, there is a new landmark right behind us out here. It's the Cheese Heart GB, Green Bay. We'll take a picture out there.
Oh,
later.
nice. All right. Yeah.
But they're going to be partying on that city deck. The 8-second ride is the live band featured back here, Dom. So we're in town to party a little bit. And it's a Friday. We always love when you join the political party. 844-967-2789. Your grievance is welcome. But I haven't even laid out a grievance yet. Other than going in the
into the BP and Wild Rose for the gun show.
The gun show and Wild Rose. Yeah,
Come on,
a little
man.
unexpected, but not so much grievance. They were friendly to me. I did not have to purchase a revolver to use the bathroom.
No. You did not inquire about the life-size cardboard cutout of the former president.
Well, they seem pretty attached to Trump.
Yeah.
Miss me yet? The guy I've been pointing towards, Tom, the semi-fascist and waiting, Ron DeSantis. And I don't know if you saw, but Wisconsin Republicans, at least the way it's being played on the Fox News Digital, Wisconsin Republicans don't see a future with Donald Trump. And that's not what I hear on the streets. But if you extrapolate properly from the Marquette University Law School poll and what our friend Charles Franklin found, they say effectively in a head-to-head matchup here in the state of Wisconsin, which I guess would be a reflection of what? Republican primary voters, and that'll happen into the next March, early April. But Ron DeSantis beating Trump in a head-to-head by like 16 in Wisconsin.
If you look at the Speaker of the Assembly, Robin Boss's Twitter feed, which I did recently because he was so hurt over the actions of governors.
Didn't he know about Thread yet? Everybody's doing it. I'm on Thread.
He's not on Truthy Social. Come on. No, they're absolutely, as they were before, against Donald Trump. But it's hard to believe that actually they'd have any spine or will to continually to push back, because they said the same thing before. No, Trump.
Well, you know what changed?
No, we want Scott Walker. Oh, we want Ted Cruz. Oh,
you know what changed?
What's that?
Robin Voss almost lost to Adam Steen. And Donald Trump came to Waukesha. You referenced the Tim Michaels rally, right? It was also an Adam Steen rally. And it wasn't just Trump doing it. It was Michael Gableman, who he hired. Talking about Robin Voss.
Right.
They both came to the stage and endorsed Robin Voss's Republican primary.
Okay, I get that, and
that's what changed.
That's politics. Okay, but we'll walk this through.
That's petty politics.
Assuming Trump isn't, in the orange jumpsuit or doesn't drop out for health reasons or whatever the case may be.
Legal reasons.
If Trump ends up winning the nomination, you
they'll
don't think?
All come creeping
see, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the prediction I've made all since forever. Don.
Well, Trump's not going to be there, but yes, if he were, the Republicans would crawl back.
As front-loaded as the Republican primaries are, and let's not forget, into next January, we're going to have the Iowa caucuses. Beginning of February, look up the time frame. I want to be accurate in that regard. By end of March, could be over, dude. By the time they get to Wisconsin, by the time they get to Super Tuesday, could be over. All over but the crying for Ron DeSantis. And you know what would be sad, Dom?
What, Curdy?
We saw Scott Walker lose, right, really badly as a presidential candidate. Thought he was ready for prime time. We all knew better, but he's boldly ambitious.
Well, to those that have never seen him or witnessed his roaring oratory skills,
he was a manufacturer of right-wing talk radio, and for those that are questioning whether or not Ron DeSantis is the guy, understand. Ted Cruz won the primary in the state of Wisconsin. This was a never Trump state amongst right-wing talk radio
until they were. Right. They roll over every time.
Until they all came home to roost. Well, it's about a Supreme Court seat, right? Got to get Ron Johnson reelected. Got to hold your nose and vote for Trump. And then it was Trump's the greatest state ever. Right. Now they're fully embracing.
Don't tread on Trump.
But it's very funny because I've been listening to Whitey Brady talk radio host, and they're having a hard time walking this fine line to, of course, if Trump is a nominee, of course I'll endorse him because he's got the greatest policies. But, is it possible that a younger, more dynamic candidate?
Like Ron DeSantis?
Yes. He's the favored one. But you and I know. They were willing to embrace Ted Cruz. They were willing to embrace Scott Walker, right?
Well, Scott Walker dropped out so someone else could rise to the
A
top.
more conservative, a true conservative candidate.
Right.
But the point being is the very fickle Wisconsin Republican Party base. Robin Voss, good luck turning against them, because you're going to have another primary coming in 2024, I suspect.
Right.
I hope the maps aren't nearly as gerrymandered, but that's a whole different conversation. But ultimately, dude, this state will come home for Trump after he wins the nomination, even if he's sitting in prison.
Crudy.
Even if he's in prison.
The Raw Story found this one yesterday. David Edwards reporting some Republicans in Wisconsin have second thoughts about choosing Trump as the party's presidential nominee. The Marquette University Law School poll in Wisconsin found Trump was losing to DeSantis by 16 points in a head-to-head. Wisconsin's Republican explained to Fox News why they had lost faith in Trump's ability to win. Here's a quote from Wisconsin Senator Dewey Strobel, Wisconsin State Senator Dewey Strobel. Trump, of course, did a great job as president. Let me just pause there for a moment and get that bile out of my throat. Really? Trump did a great job as president, according to...
They love the policies.
Yeah. But DeSantis is very, very impressive. So Wisconsin State Senator Dewey Strobel, who apparently has terrible judgment. And I think more and more people are really doubting Trump's ability to win a general election, and I think these results kind of prove it. I think it's extremely important that we pick someone who can win, he added, and as much as Trump did a great job as president, there's a certain segment of this population that there's no way in hell they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And I think without some of those people, we can't win a general election with Donald Trump as our choice.
Hell, you can't win with them. And you really can't win without him. I don't see amongst the field of viables, Tom, I don't see a viable. I see Donald Trump and I see Ron DeSantis, and I think they both will make very unpalatable general election candidates. But at least one of them's pledging to come to Milwaukee for the first RNC debate, right? DeSantis, he must be signing the pledge.
He will be here whether or not Trump is.
Well, he's kind of hoping Trump's not.
I said Trump wouldn't show up. Are you still thinking Trump is showing up in a month?
Do I?
Yeah, right about the time that Fulton County comes down. Who knows what Jack Smith is going to be up to in the next 6 weeks? But a lot can change in the next 6 weeks. But he's supposed to be here, right? That's the thing.
I think there's a greater likelihood that Trump will be here now that he knows that Meatball Ron's coming. If he can get on the stage with Ron Sanctimonious, whatever he calls him, he's going to want that opportunity. He's going to relish that opportunity. He's going to take a chainsaw, rhetorically speaking, to Ron DeSantis. Man, DeSantis will wilt and falter. I think Trump absolutely wants the chance to go down and just beat him down. What would you say to put a cigarette out on his ass?
Yeah, but come on, he's going to be double teamed. But Chris Christie's going to be up there throwing haymakers as well.
Christie would have to qualify for the.
Yeah, that's assuming he qualifies. You don't think he'll qualify?
Well, he has to qualify in 3 polls after July 1st. Can't be prior. Not early state polls. They have to be national polls. They have to have an adequate number of samples. There are a lot of restrictive criterion to meet the threshold for qualifying for the debate stage. You also need 40,000 individual donors. And not only that, but you need 200 from 20 different states. I'm not sure that Chris Christie's going to meet that criterion, Dom.
Come on, man. Who's
Asa Hutchinson has got 5,000 donors. You need 40,000. He's not going to make this.
Is it Club for Growth? Who's out there? What Republican outreach is out there putting money against Trump right now? Like $20 million. I mean, there are the Koch brothers, former organization, right?
Americans for Prosperity.
Maybe AFP, maybe. So there are efforts, there are conservative efforts. They're putting money against Donald Trump. Certainly, some of those challengers are going to get some support and resources. Donald Trump cannot be the only one on the stage if he shows up, which he won't. August 23rd is the date for the Republican National Committee presidential primary debate in Milwaukee.
You know why he's the first to commit? He's the most desperate.
Right.
He's the one flailing the most mightily.
Now, is he going to do it, or is he going to send his wife instead?
Oh, DeSantis?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll go out there. He'll look very Scott Walker-ish. America doesn't need another apprentice.
You wouldn't vote for me to be an apprentice. You wouldn't vote for me to run hotels. You wouldn't vote for me. You wouldn't vote for me at all, Scott Walker.
Quick headline at the Raw Story Plus, at least an article. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign is sinking into oblivion.
Yeah.
And that's filling Floridians with dread, according to columnist Fred Grimm. Somehow, DeSantis has failed so far to captivate Republican voters, despite his relentless exploitation of crafted for MAGA issues like race, abortion, immigration, guns, gender dysphoria, gay rights, drag queens. The Disney company Grimm notes that despite DeSantis' efforts to project a tough guy image of Trump without baggage, MAGA voters are sticking with what they know. Poor Ron sold his soul for nothing.
Hello, I'm Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin. If you are veterans struggling to pay for rent, utilities, or other life-sustaining services, I want you to know that the Veterans Rental Assistance Program is here to help. You have already made a most noble sacrifice. You shouldn't have to continue doing so. We are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's never easy to ask for assistance, but rest assured, we're here to help. You've always been there for us. We want you to know that we're here for you. Call 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727, or visit vrapwi.com. On behalf of the state of Wisconsin, thank you.
Tired of hearing only one side of the story? You want news and information from people who, like you, know what it's like to work hard every day and still struggle to make ends meet? Then tune in to The Rick Smith Show every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Be part of the conversation. Tune in, turn on, and take back the American dream. The Rick Smith Show, where working people come to talk.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Cloudy skies expected tonight with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Lows level off around 61. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 79. More clouds than sun. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 59. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 76 degrees.
This summer, Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX has a new starting lineup. 4 to 6, The Devil's Advocates with Tom and Cruz. Then at 6, The Maggie Daun Show on Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
Occupy didn't start on Wall Street. It started on our street, the Devil's Advocates.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Happy Friday to us all. You can join us on the lines. Air some grievances. We know you got them. 844-967-2789.
Tom, you can also text us utilizing the new Civic Media app. That's the best way, the easiest way, the super coolest way, because they come directly to my phone, and I can share them back with the rest of the audience. Here's one from the 608. I'm excited for Pence to embarrass himself up there. He's like Jeb 2.0.
Please clap.
He might be a little like Jeb 2.0, but I'm telling you, Ron DeSantis, far more like Scott Walker.
Yeah.
I've been saying this the whole time.
You have. I think it's an apt comparison. So if Trump gets, swept off the stage, DeSantis is terrible. I mean, I don't blame these Republicans for jumping in. I mean, it could be any one of them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Name a legit.
What do you mean legitimate? I mean, what are you
hate,
talking about legitimate, man?
I cannot.
Is Marianne Williamson legitimate?
Don't tell Dr. Harvey King.
I'm just saying.
We walked away from Marianne Williamson in a spin room. We were right in front of her, and I said, "Do you want to talk to Marianne Williamson?" You said, "About what?"
No, we were on the street, not in the spin room. But no. So whatever, man. I mean, the Republicans are going to have their primary process, and whoever's left standing is going to be. Nope. Do I think anybody on that side are legitimate? Well, what do you mean by legitimate? Are they qualified? What do you mean by qualified? Do they meet the constitutional standard? Yes, they do.
Arguably.
Come on, man.
But
age and citizenship is pretty much all you need.
You still have to have a winner. Someone's still got to win.
Well, someone will win, and it won't be Trump because Trump's got too much. I mean, if Trump's off that stage, just put aside the fact that I think he's not going to be the guy. Whatever. If he's no longer there, what does that look like? What happens in that scenario?
I cannot believe these words are going to come out of my mouth because now everyone's going to have a grievance with yours truly.
Yeah.
But let's go to the phones. Let's ask CJ.
Okay, man. If you insist. 844-967-2789. CJ, your name has been invoked. Happy Friday, man. If Trump's not on that stage, if Trump is pulled out for health, for jail, for whatever reason, CJ, who comes out of the Republican primary in your opinion, sir?
Any one of the candidates is better than the disaster in there right now.
Okay, but who do you think? Who do you think?
One of the ones?
Pick one. Pick one. Who do you think?
A better one.
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. All right. We appreciate it. What's your
Senator
grievance
Tim
today,
Scott.
CJ?
Well, I got to just say, I had to call because I really wanted to talk to the so-called professor. But God bless him.
He's got his doctorate, man.
He was actually a professor.
Yeah.
Did you go to college, CJ?
For a few years.
You had professors, so you know what a professor is, right?
Yeah, but not quite the indoctrination that he professes. But
really,
God bless
what
the
indoctrination?
VP
How is he
Wild Rose.
indoctrinating you? Are you indoctrinated, CJ? Are you now totally going to vote for Bernie Sanders because you heard Harvey's opinion on FDR and history? How is that indoctrination, dude?
Because he doesn't talk about the real history and describe both sides. But I got to God bless the BP and Wild Rose. And God forbid you have to actually use an XY chromosome bathroom. You do identify as a man, don't you, Crudy?
More man than you.
Oh, okay.
Crudy, I'm sorry, CJ. What's the matter with the unisex, man? I mean, why make an issue about it? Who cares? If you got to go, you got to go, man. I don't care. I would have slipped into there. I've gone into women's bathrooms
I was
before
at Summerfest at Dave Matthews last week, and I look around, and let's just say there were some women in the men's bathroom, CJ.
Well, you know what? I have
You see that at a
happen
Packer
the,
game or a Brewer game or some drunken party. CJ, are you intimidated when a woman walks in the men's bathroom? Do you go shrieking
Well, I tell
for
you
cover?
When my child is in there, yes, Crudy, I do. I care. So here's the thing, though.
Why? Hang on. Let's drill down on that a little bit, CJ. Why? How are you protecting your child if a female walks into a male bathroom at a concert and you're there with your kid at the concert? How is that female walking into the bathroom? How does that affect your child? Her going to the bathroom in a stall.
Why don't you ask?
I'm asking you.
Why don't you ask the?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you, CJ. How is that? Tell me that.
Had to shower with a man. Why don't you ask
Tell me
the
that.
parents of those
I'm
girls
asking
that
you a
had
very
to
specific
shower?
question, CJ.
I'm
going to give you one more
it's okay
chance.
for your-
I'm going to give you one more chance to ask a very specific question. You made a statement that if a woman walked into the Packer game in the bathroom, as women do, because they really get screwed on the whole bathroom thing, CJ. But if they walked into it, you said you'd be concerned for your child if a woman was in a male bathroom. Why?
Oh God, Dom, you are really something. But, you know.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome. 844-967-2789. I am really something, and I call out your BS, man, because nobody cares. You might claim to care, but if a woman walks in there, uses the bathroom because she's got to go, man, I totally get it. Go ahead, sister. I'm with you. And we went to the DNC in, what was that, in Philly.
Philly,
right? It was all unisex.
I know.
Nobody cares.
The only disconcerting part, and my first experience in a unisex bathroom, I walk in, I'm waiting my turn for a stall. I mean, no one sees what's going on in the stall, CJ. Because little did I know, it was Jesse Jackson.
Was in the stall?
Was in the stall.
In your the stall you were waiting on?
Door comes open, I'm like, oh, man, it's Jesse Jackson, you know? Kind of smelled like the bathroom in Wild Rose, I'm saying. The only part that was a little disconcerting, though, the women putting on cosmetics in the mirror.
Why? Have you never seen a woman put cosmetics on in the mirror? What, because you had to fight for mirror space? Well, what was disconcerting?
Because I might have something in my mustache.
So everyone looks in the mirror and cleans themselves up. Men do that. Women do that. That's the whole point, man. This whole thing is so ridiculous. I mean, if you're going to take a dump, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? People are going to the bathroom. Everybody goes to the bathroom.
What was that music from?
I think
I feel like we're moving towards a break.
I think perhaps we are.
Sounds like peace from me.
Man, people drive me crazy, folks. We are the Devil's Advocates. We are unisex. You can go to
Dogs
the bathroom
laying with cats
wherever you want. We don't care. We encourage it. If you gotta go, you gotta go. It's Friday. Air grievances 844-967-2789.
Summer, Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX has a new starting lineup. At 10, As Goes Wisconsin. Then at noon, Civic Media Network News. On Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. The White House is defending its decision to send cluster bombs to Ukraine to fight against Russia. Those are canisters that carry tens to hundreds of small bombs.
The weapons are part of a new military aid package worth up to $800 million. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was pushed by reporters Friday about this controversial move.
Ukraine is committed to post-conflict demining efforts to mitigate any potential harm to civilians. And this will be necessary regardless of whether the United States provides these munitions or not, because of Russia's widespread use of cluster munitions.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
In Texas, the white gunman who killed 23 Hispanic shoppers and workers at an El Paso Walmart in 2019 received 90 consecutive life sentences today. Patrick Cruces pled guilty to 90 federal charges that included hate crimes. Deadly cargo fire in Newark, New Jersey, still burning. The dock ship caught fire Wednesday. This is ABC News.
Looking for more local programming? Check out our website, civicmedia.us, to see our entire lineup.
For Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what you need to know in the Madison area. Madison police are letting the public know the name of a suspect they're looking for in a downtown Madison homicide from last month. Police say 18-year-old Julius Jones is considered armed and dangerous. Police say they think he killed Nicholas Taylor Washington on East Dayton Street on June 18th. Anyone who knows where police might be able to find Jones is urged to call the police department or Crime Stoppers. A vehicle pulled from the Rock River in Janesville earlier this week was stolen 30 years ago. Someone found it near Riverside Park on Monday with a sonar device. Rock County Sheriff's divers pulled it out of 12 feet of water. After a little digging, Janesville police found out it was reported stolen in 1993. The owner has been notified and the case is closed. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
Hey folks, Stephanie Miller here. As an enlightened progressive, you know how important it is to do business in accordance with your politics. That's why Solidarity Realty is my favorite real estate firm in Madison. Solidarity Realty is a local independent realty company that lives their values. They provide outstanding expertise and protect your best interests while building community and promoting sustainability and diversity. Vive la resistance! Find them today at solidarityrealty.com. And don't forget, tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
All Things BS Inc. Bring out the beauty from within. Schedule a consultation and feel confident walking in and out of your appointment. A Hollywood finishing touch is included with every service. Get ready to be walking around with a big smile and make an appointment today at allthingsbsinc.com, located off of Mineral Point Road.
Do you have Flex or Health Savings Account money available?
Brittany here from Ula Eyewear. My team and I would love to help you put those dollars towards something stylish, useful, and fun. Ula Eyewear has been family owned and operated for nearly 25 years. We pride ourselves on pairing excellent customer service with unique, quality, and eye-catching eyewear options for everyone. So invest in you and the eyewear you want by visiting us today at Ula Eyewear, Hilldale Shopping Center, Madison.
The Todd Alba Show.
I've been pretty rough on the Joint Finance Committee. I know you're going to give bipartisan praise that they're going to raise the pay for district attorneys and public defenders. You don't get an attaboy for finally saying, we finally heard people cry uncle enough times. You either govern all the time or not once a decade when it's suddenly convenient. So, but I think we have to at least give people hope once in a while that there is something happening in Madison that is a little bit on the good side.
The Todd Alba Show, weekday afternoons 1 till 3 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, rolling through the Friday Happy Hour. We've been joined here in the WGBW studios. A fine guest, the former mayor of Green Bay, the morning host, 6 to 8 a.m. He's part of the Mayor and Mino, although I hear that changes, Jim. Tim Schmidt.
Depends who starts the show. It's Mino and the Mayor. If Johnny talks, it's Mayor and the Mino if I do the intro. So
You know, Dom and I have been having that war for like 12 years.
Is it Dom and Crute or Crute and Dom? I mean,
Right.
it's obviously Dom and Crute, Jim. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
We're only into
Crute and Dom is alphabetical. See?
Then I
C
would-
comes before D in the alphabet.
Well, Johnny would win that. Johnny would win that then because it's MAI and mine's MAY. Don't tell John that. So, of course, he's listening. He told me he's going to be listening. He's on his way down to Fond du Lac.
I know he's doing some public good. There's that softball game tomorrow and that event tonight. I was listening to your fine show.
Yeah, thank you. And that was great to have you on WGBW. Yes, 97.9 FM, 1590 AM, 6 to 8 every morning. And it's been great. We're very guest driven. We bring a lot of guests in. One of our guests this week was the guy who is really leading this amputee veterans baseball tournament, and John's doing the fundraiser tonight.
Oh, nice.
And speaking, and then we're all going tomorrow to the game. And their mission, their outreach, what they do for just their teammates, but what they do for the youth in the community, because kids may be born without a limb, or losing an accident or a motorbike, or and this is a place where they can really feel like, hey, look, life's not over, it's just getting started here. And what is it? It's life without limbs is limitless. I mean, that's just a cool mission statement
for sure.
And
they compete against quote unquote able-bodied athletes, and they often are near the top of their division.
They they took third place in Bismarck. Second place?
Alaska.
In Alaska. I mean,
yeah,
these guys are. Thank you for listening. We at our show we have a quiz on Friday. People who've been listening all week, and we give away gift certificates like. Mike took us to Delilah's, which is a great restaurant here in Green Bay. We went to 1001 yesterday.
Try to forget my credit card there.
Yeah.
Didn't I? You had to go pick it up for me, Jim.
You did leave it there.
Oh, man, I had the Cajun grits with the shrimp and
It's
some
great.
andouille.
Yeah,
oh, baby.
Sounds good.
But so we do that, and we'll ask some questions like you knew the answer to. You could have won today, and then you wouldn't have had to use your credit card to pay for it because we had a gift certificate. But no, it's great. We're new at this, and we love the way Civic Media has been treating us.
The hazing comes later tonight.
Well, but how about the studio, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's got that WGN.
You see some of the holes I've been in.
I know, Johnny too. But people stop by. It was family that swung by this morning. And
well, more like you invited them in. You're just meeting people on the street out there. You're like a greeter at Walmart.
I am. It's been 16 years doing that as the mayor. So, and we give people when they come in M&Ms, right? Because Mino and the mayor, or mayor and the Mino, but it's M&Ms.
Oh, nice.
So it's great.
Are they plain or peanut?
They got both.
Oh,
we don't mess around.
A mason jar of each. They're not green though.
All right.
And we, how about that green room, right? That the refrigerator's stocked. Luke made us buy beer. I said, Luke, it's 6 to 8 in the morning show. He goes, make sure you get beer there. So the mayor came in and he tapped it. So it was good.
It is Wisconsin.
Somebody had to.
Somebody had to. So it's been fun, and we got guests lined up next week. We're not as heavy into the political scene as you guys are, but we do have 2 state representatives coming in to talk about how the budget affects Green Bay. Right?
Yeah,
we are the talk of Green Bay. We're interested in what happens along the 41 corridor. Appleton down to Oshkosh. We're going to be broadcasting live from the EAA on the 26th that whole week. So this whole area,
24th through the 28th, to be precise.
Okay.
6 to 8 a.m. each morning.
Sorry,
you better be there.
I got the memo. I just didn't read it. So okay. So we're excited about that, and we just want to lean into the community a little bit more. I think the media, and I dealt with it for many years. I think sometimes we just don't talk about the local enough, and Johnny and I are going to do that. He's been around for many years. He really knows the whole veterans thing and the community, and I of course have been here for the last 20 years and know the community pretty well. So we're excited about it. The emails we've been getting, some of the Facebook comments, and some letters, people actually writing letters.
Taking the time out to
write a letter.
Yeah, I know.
When's the last time you really got a handwritten letter?
It's really
saying,
cool.
This is great to have back. So.
Most of our correspondence in the handwritten form comes from prison.
As long as they're not, magazine cutouts.
That's funny.
I mean?
Okay, all right. I won't I'll take that off my desk. But I liked it for a while.
Yeah.
But no, we feel really good about this stuff, and the location is great. We're right downtown.
We're right on the Ray Nitschke Bridge, right on the city deck, right on this beautiful new statue, I Cheeseheart Green Bay.
It is. And tonight is, as Mike was saying, every weekend's great in Green Bay, and especially in the summertime. But tonight we have music. Of course, it's free.
What's the name of that band?
Yeah, it's 8 Second Band. I didn't know what that meant.
8 Second Ride.
Do you know what that means?
We talked about it earlier.
Okay.
I figured it out. I assumed it was bull riding. It
was 6 in the morning when we talked about it. So yes, I get it now. But we're going to that. There's we have a great farmers market on Washington Street. There's an event Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and then Monday there's comedy on the city deck again. And this is a great month too, right? We have the shareholders meeting on the 24th at Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
Of course, training camp is going to be starting.
July 20th. Not that I'm counting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming. This month, dude.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah,
it is.
That's crazy.
They actually have the joint practices down in Cincinnati with the Bengals, I believe.
There's people that have heard of our show and that have responded, and so getting people on from the Packers to community leaders to the nonprofits. People want to do that. They want to talk about themselves, and we want to hear more about what they're doing. As you know, our playing song, or bed song, as you media guys call it, is Tina Turner's "Simply the Best," and it's like, well, you guys,
a little self-aggrandizing.
Right, I know. That's
oh man,
that's what people say. But I just want to say that was chosen because Green Bay, by U.S. World and News report, was chosen as the #1 city in the United States. That's incredible, with all the cities and all the good things going on in this country. And they rate a number of things, right? And housing costs is obviously they rate that the most. But they look at crime, they look at amenities, education, and we'd always been in the top 20, 25, but. Pretty cool that we got that awarded to us about a month ago, and then
why didn't that happen while you were the mayor?
I just want to say I'm the one that got us into the top 20.
All right.
I had to set the stage.
He laid the seed corn down.
That's it. Thank you for explaining that.
You put Green Bay on the proper trajectory.
I did.
Towards
like, okay, we can do this. So yeah, it was just.
Well, let me ask you that. As a former mayor and obviously dealing with media at the time, you said you media guys. Well, welcome to the party, pal. You're a media guy now too. So What's your perspective being on this side of the
Tell about the
questioning?
guy that used to trash talk you after you left the air.
Well, yeah, I would never do that, but you sometimes, and when I say you media guys, I don't mean to generalize like that. But
Sure.
I'm
He
going
means
to.
you, Doug.
I do mean you, but so you go on, they interview on this talk radio, and then okay, thanks, that's good. Talk about different development projects and what's doing with the taxes. Well, we're going to go up 1.5%. Governor said we could go up 3.5%, but we're under the levy limits. And okay, go get in the car, driving home. That mayor, what the hell's he doing? And it's like, dude, I was just in your studio 10 minutes ago, and I don't know. I don't like, or the other thing that bothered me probably more than that was when they called to set up an interview for something, and then it was something else.
Oh, right.
And I
yeah.
just tell me, right?
Right,
I don't,
sure,
you can
yeah.
ask me anything you want, but I don't know. We're trying. Even I'm bringing this our parking enforcement officer in who.
This city's got a parking problem, doesn't it, Jim?
Well,
a parking enforcement problem.
Our listeners think we have a parking problem, and well, even at
I got
breakfast
a
today,
ticket.
right? Even at breakfast today, that guy kind of said, thank God you guys are going to do something about it. Now, whether we're going to do something about it, I don't know. But
Your strong advocacy will
we
save this city from $22 parking tickets,
which is crazy when you're. But the problem with that $22 parking ticket, and they were $8 when I was mayor, by the way. But what can happen is they can take it out on the business. I'm never eating there again. It's like, wait, the service was good, the price was good, and so we have to
plug the meter.
Were excellent.
plug the meter, pal. I mean, it's like nowadays, if you got a smartphone, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, but what if you're having a leisurely brunch with friends and colleagues?
I get what you're saying, and I'm sure that Chris is going to say that on Tuesday, and he's coming on Tuesday. But I did tell him today. I said, "Look, we're not going to beat you up. We're not like that. We're not those kind of hosts. But we are going to talk." What Johnny is so upset about, and I would agree with him, is it was 2 minutes over. I'm the one who fed the meters, and I fed his and mine, and I put less in his because he said he was leaving. So because I got to get going, don't put a lot.
But it's a Wisconsin goodbye, man. Nobody ever leaves. It was a 15-minute Wisconsin goodbye.
It was.
He gets to his car, and there's a $22 ticket.
That's exactly what
All
happened.
right, but I remember I went to a Brewer game a few years ago, and I parked up by Wisconsin, Blue Mountain, by one of the bars, and they have no parking, right? And I was going to go back and move my car prior to it, but they immediately. I mean, as soon as that time up, they must have been there with their little hand printouts. Because here's the deal, man. They rely on that revenue. It's line item, man. It's budgeted for. How much are we going to stick it to the citizens to park on the streets?
Right. And look, we understand we were over, but they've got to look at something like maybe if it's even $1 a minute up to $10. But this 2-3 minute thing for $22 is crazy.
How about based on your ability to pay? You know what I mean? Like doing speeding tickets in Europe now, like some of the things.
You know what Jim's done? Jim's got $250 in quarters. He walks down the street plugging meters.
We do have a lot of quarters. You see that?
It's not even the mayor anymore. It's not even buying votes.
We have a lot of quarters. We got a whole dish full of
man.
quarters when you walk in here because we don't want our guests to get a ticket.
All right.
So anyway, that's one thing. But there's some other things we're working on. We had the director of new community shelter, which is a homeless shelter that not only it takes care of homeless people in the community, but also does a meal program every day at 5:00. And I mean every day, Christmas, New Year's, rain, sleet, snow, for the community.
Yeah.
And that needs volunteers and it needs funding. And she was in here talking about that. We've just had some great guests. We have some Packers who we know that want to be on the show, and we're going to get them.
I hear
on.
one lives in the building.
Yeah.
Don't tell his name though. Don't dox him.
So we got we're.
Focusing on the local news, man. I mean, that's awesome.
And it is going to be local. And we were talking to Mike, and local, I mean, it's not just the municipality of Green Bay. I mean, we've got 22 municipalities in the county, and, we go to Appleton and Marinette and Oshkosh, and there's good things happening that we want to talk about. And we'll get the mayors on, we'll get community leaders on, we'll get the nonprofits on, and we just want to talk about how great it is to live here. So
your first guest was the new mayor of Green Bay, Eric Engrich.
Yeah, he was. He's our
And
first guest.
some may not realize you're a Republican, or were, and he's a Democrat.
Right.
You were crossing the streams.
But technically, the job of mayor is nonpartisan.
Yeah.
It really is, Mike. And I always ran under nonpartisan. There's no red, there's no blue. It's all green. It's all Green Bay to me. And So, and that's what we're
normally when people say it's all green, they mean money, though.
Well, I mean that too. But we feel like we could do this. The people that we've talked to and that we've seen since we've launched this show have been like, this is great. And, Johnny's pretty funny. So if we can do a little entertainment, a little education, and get people engaged in their community, I think we're doing what Civic wants us to do. And
hey,
we're delighted to do it.
We've already got a funny co-hosted product, man. You're kind of stepping on toes now, Jim.
Come on, man. We're setting down the standards. This is the way to do it.
It is. No, I love your show too. I listen to that and take a listen to ours. But hey, I'm glad you're here. This is a great city. And next time, I went over to the Northland Hotel, which is a nicest hotel north of Milwaukee, and told them you guys are going to be in town. Great rate, great rooms. But then Mike's got to take his daughter to the airport, so he's taking off. But next time, we're going to spend the whole weekend.
I'm not leaving yet.
I know that.
I mean, later. She'll get there eventually.
Oh, flights are all getting delayed now anyway, Crudy. You got plenty of time.
I got to say a Wisconsin goodbye before we leave.
Just make sure you plug the meter first.
It's free after 6, so we'll be good. They're done checking meters, so
we'll see. Jim, I got a few more questions for you. Former Green Bay Mayor Jim Schmidt, stick around. More Devil's Advocates with Jim Schmidt.
Attention, Wisconsin veterans.
Hello, I'm Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin. If you are a veteran struggling to pay for rent, utilities, or other life-sustaining services, I want you to know that the Veterans Rental Assistance Program is here to help. You have already made a most noble sacrifice. You shouldn't have to continue doing so. We are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's never easy to ask for assistance, but rest assured, we're here to help. You've always been there for us. We want you to know that we're here for you. Call 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727. or visit vrapwi.com. On behalf of the state of Wisconsin, thank you.
Up North News Radio with Pat Kreitlow.
I have Corrine Hendrickson, part of the Wisconsin Early Childhood Action Needed group.
The Joint Finance Committee, again in the middle of the night, took that out and said, well, hey, you have all this money coming from the federal government. Why don't you use that to create this program? Well, guess what? We proved it worked. Wages went up $2 an hour. There actually are a couple extra childcare businesses open now than there were about a year ago, and that's going to stop. Just Monday, we lost 2.
Weekday mornings 6 till 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Cloudy skies expected tonight with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 61. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 79. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Lows level off around 59. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 76 degrees.
This summer, Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX has a new starting lineup. 12:15, Town Call. 1 p.m., The Todd Alba Show on Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Think you know politics? Think again. Welcome to the Devil's Advocates.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. If you miss any of this fine program, please go online to civicmedia.us, click on the shows tab, and you can listen to podcasts and interviews. And hell, while you're at it, download the Civic Media app. It's super cool. You can click on us and message and call right from the app.
Dominic, I have been working my way all the way up the Fox Valley today. We're in Green Bay. We're in the WGBW studios. We're going to party on the Fox River very shortly on the city deck right here on the Ray Nitschke Bridge. And we got a good party and companion. He is Jim Schmidt. He's the former mayor of Green Bay. And Jim, I'm not going to tease you too hard about the politics, but once upon a time, you would have described yourself as a Republican. Right. And you did mention the mayor here in Green Bay. It's not a partisan position. Jim, hell, when I first started talking to you, man, you're like, well, I'm a little conservative. You're not going to want a guy like me.
I did say that.
And I said, well, come on, man, let me tell you I don't want a guy like you. Let me reject you. It's more fun for me that way.
And you did say that.
But instead, I kind of liked you. And you know what? I realized very readily and very quickly that you're a guy that loves the city you live in, that you've served in. You love your neighbors. You love this community. You're still running for something. Now you just do it on the radio in the morning.
Running for number one, baby.
For my life.
But Jim, during the break, you mentioned to us you've got Republican friends, and you've watched the politics on the Republican side change. And Dom and I have had a front row seat, and we've been to a lot of Trump rallies and Tim Michael rallies, and we've seen this new breed of Republicanism, and it certainly doesn't seem to be about governance or about serving the community or serving the voters. It seems to be about trolling the libs and sticking it to somebody, and here's who we resent, here's who we don't like. Jim, it wasn't always like that. I got Republican friends. I still have Republican friends. There's just fewer of them.
Right. I have Democratic friends too, Republican friends. I think what happened to the Republicans, Mike, that bothered me the most is they kind of eat their own a little bit. And I'm not, like, I'm a team player, right? And if we have issues, we'll work them out outside the media. I hated when aldermen or people would, debate things through the media, or not debates, okay, but be condescending or snippets through the media, and I think there's just too much of that. It just got ugly. You know what I mean?
It's okay if they utilize your platform, though.
It just the fun wasn't there, and I don't know. Life's quick. It's great. I feel very blessed, but yeah, it just got where the parties weren't fun, the fundraisers weren't fun. The issues, I don't know, a lot of spin, but that's on both sides. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. And like I'm sure, I think, well, you ran for governor, right? But, I've been asked to
don't talk about that. Not in my household anymore. Still a bit of a sore subject. Maybe if I'd have been, it wasn't that I wasn't sincere about my run, but some of the perspectives, when I ran for governor, part of that was to shed light and cast light on let's say coordinated campaigning,
right?
Which should be illegal,
right?
And which I was more than willing to do with a third party group, which I also happen to sit on the board of. That would be the ultimate form of coordinated campaigning. And it's corrupt and it should not happen, but it's legal under Wisconsin campaign finance laws, in no small part because of Scott Walker and his corruption of the laws. He turned the laws to his own benefit. And here's the sad part, Jim. Now the Dems are better at the game. Now they're raising the gobs of money.
Wow.
And it's not translating into, at least in my humble opinion, never humble, in my opinion.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
It doesn't necessarily translate into, let's say, recruiting better candidates. Right. It translates into throwing more negative ads against your opponent.
Yeah. And Mike, the damage with that is good people aren't running. I mean, some are, but there's some great people in our community. And I've been in their living room at the kitchen table, say, look, you need to do this. And, there's not a lot of money in politics, nor should there be, but I'm not going to lower myself.
Right, who wants that crappy job,
right.
Jim? You know what I mean? To put up with all that,
right.
all the questions, and God knows what the ads are going to be running against.
Right, and that's what you just said about negative ads. And here these people have ran businesses, or they've been great educators, they serve the public through firefighting,
Marxist,
or police, and then they go in there and just get the hell kicked out of them in front of their kids and their grandkids, and they're like, I'm not going to do that. I'll give you money to do it, but and it's too bad, because there's been plenty of studies on the dumbing down of America, and I don't know that's, I don't know, you can argue both sides of that, but what I'm afraid is that the people who are going to elected office, because it is, you are going to battle, and I just am not convinced we are getting the best quality candidates on the docket. And I'm talking about local, assembly, state, federal, all the way up.
I literally gave a speech during my very brief run for governor.
Okay.
And I said, Wisconsin, you've been asking for our best and brightest. Well, here I am. I mean, if you don't believe it, how are the voters going to believe it? So I was going to have a hell of a good time coordinating my campaign with the People for People Corporation.
Tom, didn't Trump say that?
And we couldn't get the media to care about the corruption of the campaign finance laws. And it was a little disheartening. The fact my wife hated every minute of it.
Right. Oh, that's very important. That is the first vote you got to get. I mean, is your partner.
Your family wants. It's not just you. Everyone's going to be on it.
They're going to get beat up. Not they shouldn't, but some people drag them in. Well, that's the other thing I didn't hate about the media is when they bring up your family. It's like they're not running. I am. So, but yeah, it's too bad. But negativity doesn't win races. I mean, you need someone that's positive, that's got a vision, and I think people will come.
Look at these temples, Jim. I could have been a contender.
I don't know about that. I don't believe that.
I mean, negativity.
I would have voted for you.
We were at the Republican convention, and Donald Trump's and he also said at the inauguration, the American dream is dead. We walked out of Cleveland, and I pointed out to Crudy that the place was packed, of course, right? There was nobody smiling at the end of that. I mean, nobody walking out of this arena had a big. I mean, I was smiling, but nobody else was smiling, Jim.
We're the only ones partying too, Jim.
I don't know about that, but I would agree. I think when you go to those rallies, you want to energize people. And look, people, Schmidt's a dreamer. That's true. I am, and I think we need dreamers.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. We're nonpartisan. I think it's going to work. I think the people in Green Bay are basically nonpartisan. I think they're all about the issues that we have here. And like I said, from the homeless to some of these development projects that are $60-80 million, they want it all. And everybody cares about families, kids, partners, social issues. And Johnny and I hope to deliver that through our show at WGBW. So we're gonna.
Jim Schmidt, you might be a dreamer, but you ain't the only one. The mayor in Mino, every weekday morning, 6 to 8 a.m. on WGBW and WISS. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates. Thank you, Green Bay, for hosting us.
Thanks, Harvey K.
Glad you.
Featuring legendary Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram. Football, life, and fun.
Earl, you've been driving a Yugo. They just gave you a brand new Ferrari with turbo boost.